Turkestan. Uyghur nationalists advocate independence from China. The Chinese government says they're terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda and regularly represses them. In 2002, the UN placed the Eastern Turkestan Islamic movement on its list of terrorist organizations. Human rights groups have voiced concern over acts of violence committed by Chinese authorities. They say the government is clamping down Uyghur culture and religion. Beijing has offered financial incentives for ethnic Chinese migrants to set up businesses in the province like it did in Tibet. Han Chinese now dominate the economy in the region. Xinjiang is one of the poorest regions in China, but it has the largest oil reserves in the country.
Well, to discuss, Henry Morton joins me now from Beijing. Henry, the Chinese are delivering a clear line on what they say happened this Monday. They say separatists rioted and they responded.
Yes, well, that's the Chinese very much wanting to show that this is not an internal problem. This is a problem that's been caused by external forces, the Uyghur independence movement, based in various countries around the world, such as Turkey and the US. And they want to stress that China is this one whole country, and these problems are coming from outside. The rioters, they're claiming, were prompted to riot by these outside forces, and that really there's no real ethnic problems in the area, and that this is all, as I say, an externally driven problem.
Now, Chinese media has also been releasing figures on the death toll, on the number of injured and on the number of arrested. Do we know, though, anything about the ethnic breakdown of these people, about the ethnicity of who's been arrested and who's been killed and who's in hospital?
No, we don't as yet, and that's actually also a very interesting point. Originally, we had reports coming out early this morning here that there were just 3 dead. The government was saying that they were all Han Chinese. However, that figure quickly got revised to this 140, 150 dead, hundreds more injured potentially. But yet, not yet any breakdown of ethnicity in who's been arrested or who's been injured. Now, this could point towards the fact that the Uyghurs could point towards what the Uyghurs have been saying, which is that they were there peacefully demonstrating and that the police cracked down in a particularly heavy-handed manner, which means that there will be a number of Uyghurs among the dead. But as I say, at the moment we still don't know too much. We're waiting for official confirmation on that.
All right, Henry, many thanks. Do stay with us. I'm joined now in the studio by Marie Holtzman, the president of Solidarity China. Henry was saying that we don't know what's happening. We have to depend on the information coming from China's state media. Was it a case of separatist rioting and the Chinese authorities overstepped the mark? What's your instinct tell you?
Well, I can't imagine any separatist rioting in China nowadays. That's absolutely impossible. The Chinese analysis that I read on the internet today was there were incidents in Guangdong on June 26, where some incidents happened in a toy factory. Guangdong is next to Hong Kong. And in that factory, there was a sort of fight, and 3 Uyghurs were killed by Han people. So that created a shock. The Uyghurs asked for some kind of explanation and asked that the police do something about those dead people. Nothing was done, and because of that, the Uyghurs staged a peaceful demonstration in Urumqi, the head of the province where the Uyghur live in Xinjiang. But what is very important is that at the beginning, there were 300 people sitting on the main square of Urumqi, and they were carrying Chinese flags. So that definitely means that they were not separatists. Otherwise, they would have been carrying Xinjiang, East Turkestan flags. So they were peaceful. They were sitting there, and then the police started trying to get them away. More people got involved, and then the violence came.
Well, Beijing paints a very different picture, doesn't it? It says that the Uyghurs are separatists, that they're stirring up trouble, that they want independence from China, and most forcefully of all, that they're allied with Al-Qaeda. And in fact, after the attacks in the United States in 2001, Beijing got the United States to put 2 Uyghur groups,
one Uyghur group,
Uyghur group onto a list of international terrorists.
Absolutely, that was a real mistake from the United States, I think. Even if there had been one terrorist organization, putting that one on the list meant that the Chinese government was allowed to repress whatever it felt like. Just recently, we heard of 2 Uyghurs being sentenced to death and executed publicly in some kind of big square. Things like that don't happen happen anymore in China.
Is there no link with Al-Qaeda?
Well, you can always say there's a link. It hasn't been proved. The 17 people, the 17 Uyghur who have been arrested in Guantanamo have now all been declared innocent. The problem with these Uyghurs is nobody knows where to put them. 4 of them have been sent to Albania, and another few have been sent to Palau, which nobody knows. Nobody wants them. They can't be sent to China because they'll be executed, and nobody wants them anywhere else.
Now, people are inevitably going to draw comparisons with the situation in Tibet. There was a crackdown in Tibet. Is it Tibet and the cause for Tibetan independence is a cause célèbre around the world? The Dalai Lama has, if you like, done a good PR job on
Whereas
on
nobody knows anything about the Uyghurs. One reason, in Tibet you have only one ethnic minority, the Tibetans. In Xinjiang you have 13 ethnic minorities, the Uyghurs, the Kazakhs, the Hui, etc., etc. So there's not that much harmony between all those minorities, which is one problem and prevents them for uniting and expressing themselves in one voice. That's one problem. But the other problem is that the Tibetans have the very famous Dalai Lama that the Uyghurs don't have. So because of that, as you said, Tibet is a cause célèbre, which the Xinjiang is not. And repression in Xinjiang is a lot harsher than it is in Tibet. For example, one doesn't hear of crimes that are not violent, that are purely, let's say, political, being sentenced to death within China, mainland China. But in Xinjiang, you still hear of people being executed for purely political reasons.
All right, many thanks, Mary Holtzman. Henry Morton, I'll give you the last word. Comparisons with Tibet?
Yes, very much so. Also from an historic point of view, both regions before Mao came to power, very restive, de facto independence, if you like, from China. Mao came in, sent in troops, as he put it, peacefully liberate them, what most independence advocates would say an invasion. So yes, many similarities and many problems still ahead.
All right, Henry Morton in Beijing. Many thanks. Mary Holtzman, thanks to you, and thanks to you most of all for watching. Stay tuned. This is France 24.
How to end the global financial crisis? To answer that question, from July 8th to the 10th, the G8 is meeting in Aquila, the town in the Abruzzo region of Italy,